Alright guys, so it's Em's birthday today. So I know in real time for you guys it was weeks ago, but for us it's Em's birthday. We've just been to town, grabbed a couple of things, dropped Isabelle at school.
Yep.
And we're gonna have a naughty stop on the way home. We're gonna stop at the Karamba Bakery.
Yes, bakery and cafe.
So it's a little place between where we are and Coffs Harbour. It's beautiful little bakery, actually, really good pies.
Yes.
So I thought we'd stop and do a little pie showing, give you a look at their pie and vanilla slice and everything. So we'll stop there on the way home, give you a look at the bakery, and then we'll go home and have a feed.
Yeah.
Alright, so all home from bakery, from town. I didn't do any filming at the bakery because the camera was here. And when I was in the car, we're just using Em's phone, which is probably extremely obvious.
Yeah, and it's a
bit shaky.
shaky and dodgy.
But food's here. We're gonna dig in. It is amazing, guys. If you're going through Karamba Way, like from Grafton to Coffs Harbour, make sure you pull in. There is another one at Glenray, so we'll do it next. But we're gonna dig in and have a feed, and I'll give you a look. Yeah. Alright, so I've got the Works pie, which has got like cheese, bacon, onion, tomato, everything. It's amazing. And a sausage roll. What do you got?
I just went for good old cheese and bacon today.
And a cake.
Piece of cake.
They didn't have any vanilla slice.
No, so one day when we do stop in there and they've got the vanilla slice, we will throw that somewhere
when we do
in
it.
a video whenever they have it.
It's Em's #1 vanilla slice anywhere so far.
Yeah, amazing.
So the pastry's not quite crunchy, and it's got none of the frosting on top, which is Em's #1.
And the custard is beautiful. But
anyway, we're gonna dig in and eat. So, see you. Alright, brekie's all done. Absolutely amazing. Speechless.
Yep.
Just amazing pies. Like their pastry, everything is just beautiful.
Really good.
But I think I'm going to work on the J10. Get a bit more done. I'm going to do the steering on that. Excuse me. And then this afternoon, we're going to pick Isabelle up and go to Bunnings and get all the stuff to build
a chicken pen.
A chicken pen.
Chicken coop. Whatever.
Chicken coop, cage, yard thing. Because Em's been talking about it for a bit. Isabelle's been hounding us, so we thought, bugger it. We're going to be here for long enough. They can get some chooks and I'll get free eggs, so.
Yeah.
We'll film the little dodgy building of our dodgy chicken house. But for now, I'm going to get to work on this J10. Alright, so Terry's J10. You probably got a cloud of smoke. It is cold and blows a bit of soot when it's cold. But like I said, we've got rear shoes, we've got a brake proportioning valve. It's actually one I already had. The problem with these are the factory one, this is a pin, and as you hit your brake pedal, this pin that comes out, allowing fluid through to the rear brakes. And that's failed on this one, so the rear brakes aren't working. The aftermarket one does away with that slide out pin, and there's all other stuff inside it, valves and everything that allow the proportioning side of things to work. So we're gonna chuck that on, throw some rear shoes in it, and one thing I did forget is I've got to have a look at the steering. So it's got heaps of turning circle to the left and none to the right, like literally none, hey?
Yeah.
Like, it's just non-existent. So I'll jack it up. I think someone maybe adjusted the drag link and the steering box isn't sitting central anymore, so I'll drop the tie rod off, put the steering box halfway, and then see how it marries up. But we'll get into pulling some wheels off. Alright guys, now this may be painful for people to watch because working blind, I've got to do a lot of this by feel, so my hands are probably going to be in the way a lot of the time. And it's probably frustrating watching me try and line things up. But we'll see how we go. Alright, so rear brakes are all done. I was going to say something. What was I going to say? I don't know. Either way, rear brakes are all done now. We're going to throw in the brake proportioning valve. On these, it's literally on the inside of the chassis rail right there. So I'll go under it, I'll set the camera up, and I don't know, I'll try and get it so you can see something. Either way, you'll see more than I can. But we're going to have a look. Alright, so proportioning valve's off. I tried to film it all, but basically there's not much room under there and the camera was just in the way. So that's it there. Which way does that sit? That sits on the chassis like that. Chassis is my side. And there's a pin here in the front. So as you push on the brakes, the hydraulic pressure pushes that pin out, allowing pressure through to the rears. And that pin's all seized. So basically, when you hit the brake, you get brakes to the front, but nothing to the back. And when we hit this with a hammer and sit there tapping at the rear brakes slowly start to apply. And then that only happens sometimes. So we got a new one here. I think we got that from BJ's Off-Road. So we'll chuck that one in. It's a lot nicer looking, all billet. So we'll put that in and hopefully it'll have rear brakes now. Alright, so I'm all done on the steering. I thought I was filming the whole time, but I wasn't. Joys of not being able to see the red light on the camera. But what was wrong with it was, I'd said before that it had no turning circle to the right and a full turning circle to the left. So at some point someone's put a new tie rod in it, tie rod end on the pitman arm, and haven't centralized the adjuster, which meant they'd threaded it all the way in and then they could no longer adjust that adjuster, and the drag link was way out of adjustment. So I'll give you a look in a sec, but I centered the steering box, so turned it, took the drag link off the pitman arm, turned it all the way one way, put a line from the pitman arm down the steering box, turned it all the way the other way, put a line down, and then centered the pitman arm between those two lines, which gives me center of the steering box, which is also the best place the vehicle will drive because that's where your steering box is actually adjusted. So I did that, and then we string lined down the wheels to get the wheels dead straight, and just kept adjusting the drag link until the wheels were dead straight with the rears, and it just sat perfect. So I'll give you the quick look, but now we've got the same turning circle both ways. So I don't know if the camera shows it. Where am I? Down here. So there'll be 3 lines on here, full lock and central. And then, where am I? This one here is the one that was way out of adjustment. So basically I dropped the drag link, threaded the tie rod all the way out of it, and then centered up the adjuster on the drag link and the tie rod, and then set up our steering from there. So once all set it up, now we've got the same lock both ways, so sort of worked the treat. So now it's got rear brakes, it's got the same steering both ways. I had to throw some new bleed nipples in the front calipers because they were all butchered up, which a lot of brakes are. Like, you know, by the era of this, so many ring spanners and open enders have been on them and butchered them. So we chucked some new bleed nipples in it, but that's all done, ready to go. So he can come pick that up. And now we're going to put Michael's TJ back in the shed and get started on it. Alright, so got the TJ in the shed at present. We're just sort of ticking some jobs away on it before its yearly inspection. Couple of little issues with it. I'll give you a look. I should have actually showed you before I fixed the problems, but you know, I didn't. So basically we're doing a training service and transfer case service. Worst thing with the TJ is, guys, you've got to drop the whole, I'll give you a look, you've got to drop the whole belly plate off just to get at the auto and transfer case. It really sucks. But I'm in the middle of doing that now. I did rear brakes. I didn't bother filming that because we've showed that on other vehicles. Threw some front pads in it. Threw our old springs, so the springs we took out of our TJ last week, or last fortnight's video, we threw into this because it had a pretty common problem. So most people will just buy, like if they don't really want to spend the money, they'll buy like a budget lift kit, which is like a 2-inch core spacer and shocks, 2-inch longer shocks. Now that's all well and good, assuming that your coils haven't sagged. So if you've done that and your coils have sagged like 1.5 inches or so, and you throw them spacers in, technically you're just pretty well bringing it up to a standard height. And then the problem is when you throw in your 2-inch longer shocks, your shocks are now too long and you'll just keep bottoming out in bumps, and that's what was happening in this. So Ours basically with the standard coils sat the same height as this was sitting, and this has got 2-inch spacers in it, and the rear shocks were just bottoming out. So we threw our coils in it, still with the spacers and the shocks and everything that were in it, so it's lifted it an inch, just over an inch. So now we've gained like 30 mil of travel in the shocks, so it won't bottom out anymore. Sits a bit more proud, sits a bit higher. Threw our old wheels on it because Michael's wheels are pretty low, like the tread's pretty low on them, and it'd be a gamble whether it'd pass, so we threw our old tyres and wheels on it because there's a lot of tread left on the muddies. What else did we do? I think that's it. Threw our coils in it, threw our wheels on it, tranny service. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it, guys. But I'll take his under, give you a look at the auto. I'm not going to show much the auto service because we've covered auto services before in the past. And they're basically, once you've done one auto, they're all the same. It's just whether the filter bolts in or drops in, or, you know, it's just those little tiny things. But I'll give you a look. All right, so here's your basically your auto trans, what's inside it anyway. So like I said, they're pretty well always the same. So there's your filter. We've just chucked a new one on. And then this one's got 3 little Allen key bolts that will just sort of nip up. This one, the oil was clean. We haven't split the filter yet. I'll give you a look at the filter when we split it. Always split your filter, that way you sort of know what you're dealing with, what it was like before your tranny service. So you know if you've got any problems that may occur in the distant future or close future, some cars. Alright, so filter's done up. Now for the dirty part. Actually, the dirty part's done. We've dropped the oil and pan. But now for the dirty part, we've got to clean all the old pan out, get all the gasket off. We've got to clean all this gasket face and then put it back together. But that's about all I'll show you. Like I said, it's pretty straightforward. We might actually split this because we don't know what the auto's like in it. Alright, so we've got a baking tray and we've got an oil filter. Let's get rid of this box of goodies. Now, side cutters. Side cutters I usually find the easiest. Sometimes you might use a pair of pliers. Let me look at this. So I've got a pair of side cutters. Sometimes you might use pliers. It just depends on the filter. Now basically this one here, you've got filter both sides and then a steel ring. So what we'll do is go around and open up that steel ring, and then we can split the filter open and see what's inside. That's the scary point. So you're just doing it like a can opener. Oh, missed the corner. Like I said, I've showed all this before in the past, so I don't want to bore you too much if you've watched our old videos. So far it looks pretty good. Alright, so that there is inside our filter. Let me get this out of the way. So there's a tiny bit of friction material in there. Sort of nothing scary on that side. Now, because of the style of filter this is, we got to bend it all the other way. Oh no, why not? We can get this out. It is messy work, guys. Like, you're literally playing in the oil, so expect to get a bit oily. Some people wear gloves, so you probably won't get as dirty as I would, but like I said, this isn't a must in a lot of people's eyes. In my eyes, I think it's a big must. At least then you know, you can do a tranny service and think your box is fine, and then, in a couple of months, you start having issues. But at least by checking it out each time you do a service, you can monitor if it's getting any wear. If you start seeing excessive friction material, if you start seeing any metal, any torque converter, you can pick it up here. So saying that, so you get a little bit of friction material will just be like it'll look black in here. It'll be like black dust. It won't be sparkly. If you got sparkles in there, then you got metal. But it all looks pretty good. So Mike will be happy with that. But I'm actually going to clean the pan out, throw the gasket on and bolt the pan on. Like I said, there's no point showing you that. It's just normal stuff. But I'll give you a look at it once we get the... Actually, I will say, if you do a tranny service, remember, always check your service manual or Google it. But 99.99999% of automatics will be filled while running in neutral or park. Make sure you check that. As far as I know, it's only really Hondas that you'll fill not running. So you usually put like 3 litres in, 3.5 litres, start it up, cycle your gears, put it back in park or neutral, whichever one your vehicle needs, which it specifies, and then check your fluid, top it up, check it, cycle your gears, check it until you get to a nice level, take it for a drive, get the auto hot, and then recheck it again. So I'm going to do all that, and I'll see you when it's back on the ground and all finished. Alright guys, so we've had a hold for the weekend, because it is the weekend time. We've had a hold on working on Jeeps. Sorry boss. Isabelle has wanted, since we got here, and so's Em, wanted to get some chooks. So we are here until like Christmas time at least, so we finally decided to do it. So we are making up a dodgy chicken hutch, chicken house, chicken pen thing, chicken shack. So we've got, just look out of the way. So we've got the frame knocked up here. It's basically 3 meters long and 1 meter wide. And then we're just going to put iron around one end with a door and then mesh around the other end, so that way it's sort of out in the sun as well. But I'm just going to chuck a quick time lapse on. I don't know if anyone wants to see it, but yous are anyway. So Isabelle's going to start cutting some timber so we can make some cross bracing and that sort of thing to stiffen it up. And then we'll start putting some iron on this thing and some chicken mesh. Alright, so TJ's out of the shed, all finished, ready for its yearly inspection and a couple of little upgrades. But I'll get him to put in a photo here if we've got one of it before we did all the wheels and lift and everything, just so you can see a difference. If not, then it is what it is. But that's how it looks now. So it is considerably different. Like, so it's sitting, I think it was 23 mil higher now. And it's gone from a 28 by 9 inch tire to a 30 by 9.5. So yeah, it just sort of, I just think the stance on it is so much better now. It just its presence is a lot better. It doesn't look so sagged anymore, and obviously the shocks aren't going to bottom out. because they're actually made for it. Shed's all mine again. There's nothing else in here. I've got a bit more to do on the Chief, but we got till the end of the year to do that. So Chief's gonna get a break, and guys, the Willys is going in here. So Willie's gonna come in, it's gonna go on stands, it's gonna start pulling the front axle out of it and putting that front diff in it. Bloody sun, is that bright? I've got to switch all the brakes and everything off our axle onto the diff. So I'll strip the diff down, the way it's a bit lighter as well. Put it in, make sure it all fits before I go stripping the brakes out of ours. Get the diff in, get the transfer case in and see how it drives. But that'll be the next little venture. I don't think we're up to much at present. We might actually, I think is the weather supposed to be fine this weekend? No? If it's not raining, we want to go for a wheel out in the scrub. Take the TJ out and test out all those new wheels and suspension and everything, but it's literally been pissing down rain non-stop. We have got a winch bar coming for us, just a second-hand one, so I should shed it to dry. We're going to throw that on so at least it's got a winch, because down here it is that sloppy and muddy out in the bush. It doesn't take much to get stuck, and I hate stuff around the mud. I'd rather just winch out. So the winch will go on it. So yeah, I'm going to chill out and yeah, start on the Willys. Right guys, so chicken house is all done. Isabelle's picked up 2 silky chooks, and here's one here. Which one's this?
This is Coco.
Coco, they're silkies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've got 2 silky chooks and 1 silky rooster. But their chicken house is all done. So it is on wheels, so we move it around like every day or two. It gets moved around the yard. But we've got the door, obviously door in and out. Feeding tube, so inside I've just got a poly pipe along the bottom that's full of feed. And then the water bowl in the bottom, so there's the other chook. But it turned out pretty good. Isabelle loves it.
Sweetie.
Yep, chook's talking away. But yeah, so all went well. So I think we're going to wrap up this video here. So don't forget to like the video if you liked it, subscribe to the channel, do all that good stuff. So make sure you tune in next fortnight, because we are off to
The Gold Coast.
the Gold Coast for Isabelle's 13th birthday. So the big 13, she's finally a teenager. And we're going to head up on the Friday. So Gemma's going to come down, she's going to come with us. So yeah, head up on Friday. Saturday we're going to Dreamworld, Sunday SeaWorld. Monday chill out around the Goldie and come home. And then after that we're going to button up everything, all the loose ends on the Chief, stage 1 of the Chief work, get that finished. And then it's time for the Willys to hit the operating table. Get all the stuff done on that. Look at the smile on it from bloody chooks, Jesus Christ. Don't forget to like, subscribe, any comments leave them below. I'll see you next fortnight.